Hello, good morning, and welcome to this week's serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Kate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm grand. We'll pretend like we haven't spent like 20 minutes having technical difficulties with various platforms.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, hi, Sinead. How are you? Long time no speak. 20 minutes of, I'm going to throw my laptop out the window.
Oh. So for context, guys, the platform that we used last week is called Zencastr. However, I think Zencastr requires a high level of bandwidth from your internet. And I could only hear gibberish coming from Kate, which she wasn't speaking gibberish. She was just speaking normally, but that's all that was coming through. So it's very difficult to have a two-way conversation when you can't actually hear what the person's saying. So we've opted to try Zoom. So if this sounds terrible, blame Zoom.
Yeah,
but we're trying our best.
We're just doing what we can, okay? I still don't have a mic really, so you're lucky it's even coming through this.
Yeah, we're trying our best. We're doing what we can. So how's your week been, Kate?
Sure, it's been fine. Nothing exciting has happened. Just still been in my house. Haven't left my house. Well, I've been for walks, but otherwise haven't left my house. I don't even go to the shops to do the shopping. That's my mum, my sister's job. They've got that one down to a T. So yeah, it's just me in the house, me. I hoovered my floor. I've started to put my seams up on the wall as much as I can, but every time I get halfway, they fall down. So I still have half a bag of a large Disney shopper, not an extra large one, just a large Disney store shopper.
Just for clarification.
Yeah, not an extra large one. That would be bad. Imagine half full extra large one. That would be awful. So I still find somewhere. I think I just need to widen my load, and then it will work. Because at the moment it's all quite centered, so they keep falling down.
Okay.
So yeah. The big question is, what am I going to do with them when I leave this room? Because I haven't figured that out yet, but that's a future problem. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Fun times.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to? How was your week?
Well, I'm still working. So I'm still working away, doing my usual day-to-day job. Today, my team's call the theme was dressing gowns and towels on your head. But I opted to put my Minnie Mouse headbands that I used to wash my face with instead. But did have a dressing gown on. I wore Breffney's because his is much more snuggly than mine. And yeah, my team calls are getting weirder and weirder by the day, which I'm kind of enjoying more and more by the day because they're just getting a bit daft. One thing that we did do though is we had our little Disney Pals night the other night on Friday and we did our quiz. It was great fun.
Yes, highly enjoyed the quiz. I enjoyed greatly that nobody could answer half the questions. I was like,
yeah, the highest results we had was 16 out of 25.
Yeah, 25
questions.
Yeah.
Which in fairness is not bad because they were not easy questions by any means.
But I didn't think I was being harsh. But when people were like, these are difficult, I was like, I didn't think they were. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So some of them were a little tricky, but there were definitely opportunities for people to get some questions. So
yeah, I mean, like I had a couple of fun ones, like to the nearest 1,000, a certain number, but like you got to throw in a couple of those rando ones. But on the whole, I didn't think it was that complicated or that difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any of you guys that follow us along on Instagram will be able to tell us because starting from Wednesday, we're going to post them on our Instagram stories. So we'll save them as a highlight as well so that if you miss it, you can go back and look at it later. But we'll see how many people on the Instagram can get them right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I want other feedback to know if I was actually being mean or not and how difficult the questions were. Please and thank you. I need validation. Thanks.
Absolutely. I wanted to give some quick little shout outs to some of the people that came on the call and some of the people especially that stayed till nearly midnight.
Yeah, you crazy wackadoodles. I went to bed.
You did go to bed. You had your own stuff going on. That's fine.
But you guys were mental. I was like, midnight? Do you guys not have beds to go to sleep in?
It's funny though because as the evening went further on, so Samantha or the dot girl dot in the dot cat. I can never get it right.
You
There's too
missed
many
a
dots.
dot. There's a dot between
There's
every
too many
word.
dots. There's a dot between every word. It's the girl in the castle with dots between every word. But as the evening progressed, she just got more and more like into bed, and by the end of it, she was just like fully horizontal, but still on the phone. So yeah, quick shout outs to some of the people that came. So we have Sam from The Girl in the Castle, we have Maeve, we had Amy, Ellen, we had the lovely Andrea, Wendy, Chloe, Sandra, Lisa, Emma, Bref, and Susan as well. So thank you very much. We had other couple people join and then they had to drop and whatnot, but just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that joined. And we're doing it again, Kate.
We are doing it again with another quiz.
Da, da, da. When are we going to do it again, Kate?
Oh, I don't know the date tonight. You put that one up. I just arrive when I'm supposed to.
And have a quiz prepped.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's ready.
So the next one is going to be on Friday, April 17th. We said we'd give people a week off. And it's, again, going to start at 7 o'clock. We're going to be using Zoom. And if you would like to join, please DM us on Instagram and send us your email address and I will pop the invite over to you. It's a great group of people. We had a good chat. We got into the nitty gritties of the Disneyland Paris sparkling experience, Castle Club. I did a full itinerary lowdown for the Irish and Southern California Adventures by Disney's at one stage. It took a weird turn, but it was a fun night. Would recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. If any of you, oh, whoops, I pressed a button. We're all okay. Sorry. Yeah, if anyone wants to join, please do. It was a lot of fun and it's not as awkward as you think it's going to be. 20 strangers just meeting up on Zoom that I've never met before. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and loads of people wore ears. People were in Disney themed outfits. It was great crack.
Yeah, big fan. If you want to join, please do. Please don't feel scared to, as long as you have some form of internet connection that can connect onto Zoom and some form of beverage, please do join.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully whenever all of this is done and we're allowed out of our houses again, oh, what a glorious day that will be. We'll be able to do it in person because I think that'll be fun.
When will my life begin?
Speaking of the word begin, Kate,
yes.
Did you know it's nearly a year since we started doing the podcast?
I did, because you told me this morning.
I did. I told you about 12 hours ago.
I was like, oh wow, is it cool?
It's a year on Monday, so the 13th. I like that we started on the 13th as well. It makes me feel quite happy.
Of course you did, because one day it'll probably turn out to be Friday the 13th, won't it?
Yup. That's my plan. That is my plan. So yeah, we've been doing this for a year. I'm proud of us that we've like stuck with it for a year.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that our anniversary falls on like COVID shutdown though, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a weird way to celebrate it.
Yeah, but hey, we're just gonna have to celebrate another day, and celebrate we shall.
The amount of celebrations that are gonna happen when we're all allowed out again, it's gonna be like a 2-week long bender.
It's gonna be a good time. So here's a question. So this is technically. Oh, well done, Kate. I'm very proud.
Thanks.
So this is technically our 40th episode. Now we've released definitely more than 40 episodes between bonus episodes and the episodes that me and Bref are doing. There's definitely more than 40 episodes in the Mickey Waffles feed. However, it being episode 40, what's your favorite episode that we've ever recorded?
Oh, Sinead, you know you can't ask me questions without prepping me beforehand, especially when it's about something like this.
There's I like so many answers.
I really like, to be honest, I really like any of the episodes where we do trip reviews. They're some of my favorite ones to do, because we basically just go for like 3-hour long rants about our trip and normally about the shit hotel experiences. Unless, of course, that is we stay in Sequoia Lodge, then it's excellent every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think looking from like our downloads and stuff like that, it seems to be everybody's favorite type of episode are trip planning episodes and trip review episodes, which in fairness, of course, they're going to be our favorites because that means we've gone to Disneyland. So
yeah, that's pretty true, to be honest.
Reignites that little bit of magic. I think my favorite like set of episodes that we've done were our trip review episodes and the subsequent bonus episodes that came off of our trip in April last year. So the Marvel review, and then also that faithful Phantom Manor event that we went to as well, and the ridiculously long episodes that we also put out for those.
Yeah, I was just looking because you surprised me with this question. I was like, geez, what have we talked about? And I was like, wow, look at all of these mini waffles that nobody cares about. Of, hey, we went and did this thing, and hey, let us tell you about this mad experience we had doing this thing for another 45 minutes of your life.
What can I say? We just love producing content. We just also have the complete inability to shut up.
But see, the thing is, when we talk about trip reviews, we've just got so much content because we're like, we will word by word tell you exactly every single part of our trip from the moment we left the house to go to the airport to the moment we came back home. Like, I will happily play by play you our entire trip. And if you're willing to listen, then great for all around.
Exactly.
I also really like the episodes where we like review things to see if they're like worth it. Like, we had the Infinity Annual Pass review to see to explain if having an annual pass is worth it. And then we also did that episode of how to be Scrooge McDuck and like money saving tips and all that sort of stuff for Disneyland Paris. And I really like doing those ones because I feel like that actually helps people.
Yeah, I agree. Same with the hotel ones as well, and how do you get to DLP, like all those trip planning ones. I love planning anyways, so being able to talk to people about my insane love of planning is that's always great to me.
Yeah, so big fan of all those ones, to be honest. I am also loving our like attractions one at the moment as well. I say at the moment, it's spanned like what, I feel like it's spanned like 2 years, but that's not possible.
We will eventually we will somehow go through all of them.
Yeah, but I'm as we get to them, I quite like them as well, because one day we'll have the whole park done and we'll have detailed descriptions and facts galore for every single one, and that'll be pretty cool to have on a backlog. But yeah, I really like doing those ones as well because we actually learn a lot about the attractions that we didn't know, or that we probably did know but never really thought about. So yeah, these ones are really fun as well.
Yeah, I enjoy those as well. And a couple of the guys that joined our Disney Pals night on Friday said that they also really enjoy them because they feel like they're also learning stuff, which is nice. I like feeling like we're teaching people. You'd swear it was my profession, but still.
Yeah, I was like, Sinead.
That's literally my job.
Yeah, it's been a year. It's been a wackadoodle of a year. I can't believe how many Disney trips we went on. I can't believe how many Disney trips we went on in 2019.
It was a good time.
And the amount of content that came from it was immense, that we had to take like a month and a half just from our normal podcasting to just do trip reviews.
Trip planning, trip review.
Yeah, I'm surprised people weren't like, what the fuck?
I mean, the fact that within the space of a month and a half, you went 3 times.
That was a great time, and I don't regret anything I did. No. I fully stand by all of my decisions.
And in fairness, so do I. And I'm keeping everything crossed that my trip in September does not get derailed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, same, because we need new content for the Instagram, and I'm struggling on photos.
Yeah, agreed.
So if you could go and snap some more, that'd be great. But I also I obviously have no plans for this year to go to anywhere really. But I am now also like, man, what if I just went for like a 2-day trip when it reopened? Because this time has been so awful, like being in the house, that I'm like, yeah, I could do like a 2-day, 1-night cheapo trip. And then I'm like, we'll see how it goes. But like, I'm like, well, if it came cheap enough, then maybe, because having to be in the house for what's probably going to be 1 to 2 solid months is taxing.
I mean, Kate, if you happen to need somebody to get you discount on tickets and hotels, hello.
I mean, you know, seems like this is working out. Seems like this is going to go quite well. That's all I'm saying.
And I won't lie. So there's no real, obviously, news that is happening. However, there is I suppose, kind of rumor that was put out into the stratosphere by DLP Report this morning, saying that a new casting ad reveals that Disneyland Paris could potentially have 3 Halloween parties this year, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st. And I'm like, Do I want to go to the one on the 17th though?
Yeah, I was like, the only one I'd be prepared to go to is the one on the 17th.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like, that's far enough from my September trip, and it's also far enough away from when I'm supposed to go to Boston and New York, that I'm like, I could probably do that.
Oh, there you go. You go on a quick little solo trip just for Halloweeny.
Yeah, it's like, it's a quick little like weekendy trip, because the 17th is a Saturday. It would be so busy, but I'm
it
also just
would.
kind of like, do we think I would care? Because I could have the little pumpkin dessert, I could see Vive la Vie.
See, the thing is, I think when you go by yourself and it's quite busy, it doesn't really matter that much because you can make the personal decision to be like, yeah, I have my phone, I have my whatever, I'll stand in this queue, it's fine. Like,
Yeah,
you don't need to worry about like keeping face with like the other people in your party.
yeah, true.
Like, you can just like switch off for the 45 minutes that you're in the queue if you wanted. And because you're by
Yeah,
yourself, you can do basically whatever you want. So I think going at a busier time with just you can work out. I also think there's like more secret single rider lines that we don't know about, because I think there's a lot of times if you just ask the cast member at the front if they're single rider, they'll just send you through the fast pass line dependent on
oh
how busy it is. So I think I think being a single rider isn't always the worst thing, or going on a solo trip when it's busy, I think could actually work out quite profitable.
yeah, absolutely. Because especially because I know on my September trip, for example, because I'm not going by myself and going with Mel, I know I'm going to have to go on Tower of Terror. And that I think about that more regularly than I probably should, because I'm genuinely terrified. Because
You should see that as a privilege that you get to go on Tower of Terror.
I was really hoping I would never necessarily have to experience the new Tower of Terror, because everyone
But
keeps
it's
telling me that it's so much
so
scarier than the other one.
good. It's so good. It's fantastic. So many drops. So much sudden braking. It's fantastic.
So we'll see. We'll get to see what my review is of the new Tower of Terror.
Oh yeah, because we never got that.
No, that was a very one-sided bonus episode. It was just like, Kate, you just talk about it, and I'll go, yeah.
That was me going, it was amazing.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's been a good year. I'm excited for the next year of Mickey Waffles and what it could potentially bring.
Yeah, I guess just thank you everyone for listening to the podcast. We wouldn't have kept going if nobody listened to it, probably. I think if we'd have gone a month and nobody was listening to it, I'd say we probably would have stopped.
I mean,
even though
we probably would have still kept going. I mean, it gave us something to do.
Yeah, but the fact that people listened to it was good too.
Yeah,
it really helped.
Of course, and I feel like we've made so many like Disney friends out of it as well, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, and the feedback we get off Instagram and the engagement and stuff like that, it's really nice, and it definitely filled the hole we both had, I think, from no longer working in the store. Even though for you it had been a lot longer since you worked in the store, but like the Disney gap was still there. So I definitely think doing this has filled it pretty much, because we still get to nonsensically talk about our facts once a week to whoever will listen.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially now that we figured out ways of doing it remotely, we should hopefully be able to potentially get some guests on to discuss things that we don't know a whole lot about. I would love to get somebody on to speak about Green Pass, Orange Pass, all that kind of stuff, that have experience with it, because I don't understand it because I've never experienced it, much like yourself. So I would love to kind of pick somebody's brain about that, because I know it's something that a lot of people have a lot of questions about.
Yeah, and if there's anyone who would like to come on the podcast and discuss this whole Castle Club scenario, I think I'd be down for a conversation about that, please and thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. We'll take a DM whenever you're ready.
You know, that special someone, if they could just maybe come on the podcast and just maybe talk for a little bit about how much they enjoyed themselves, and yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and especially because like from the conversations that we had on Friday, there were people that have done the sparkling experience, people that have stayed in Castle Club, all that kind of stuff, people that have done stuff that we have never done, but I find fascinating. So we're going to try get some more guests on to talk about the additional things that you can do in DLP that we have just not done yet.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's been the year. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. We did reach out to some lovely listeners and asked if they wanted to include a little message for us doing the podcast for a year, so we will pop those in now.
Happy 1 year anniversary, Mickey Waffles. Thank you, Sinead and Kate, for amazing content throughout the year. Plenty more amazing podcasts to come, no doubt, and can't wait to see what you have in store for us for the next year. Bye.
Hello there. I just wanted to wish everyone at Mickey Waffles podcast a very happy anniversary and just say thanks very much for all the hard work and great content that you guys have been releasing. This is a podcast that just brings me pure joy. I know that when a new episode releases, I have a nice hour of just pure happiness to listen to. So thanks very much, and I hope it carries on forever and ever.
Hello, Mickey's Waffle Podcast. Congratulations on your first anniversary. Here's to many more.
1 year anniversary, Mickey Waffles. Thank you for a great year of entertainment and laughs, and thanks for bringing all the Disney pals together. Here's to a lot more exciting times ahead. And thanks to Sinead and Kate and Breffney for putting in so much hard work.
Hi, this is Maeve. I just wanted to say happy anniversary to Mickey Waffles. Kate and Sinead are the best casters out there. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay, bye.
Hello, Sinead and Kate. This is the lovely Breff, or Invisible Producer Breff. And I wanted to just send a quick note in here just to pass on my congratulations for your first year in podcasting. It has been a wonderful year, and it's been fantastic to see the show grow from strength to strength, and will only go up from this point. It's one of my proudest projects I've ever been a part of, and I'm just so incredibly proud of both of you for what you've been able to do and what you're going to continue to do. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to anyone and everyone who has ever listened to an episode. We all really massively appreciate it, and we hope you share it with your friends. And if you think it's something they dig, then let them know about it. Until then, here's to many more years. Bye.
And that was it. Thanks so much for those messages, guys. That was lovely. Much love. Much love spread all around. Thank you so much.
Y'all are so cute. Thank you very much.
I love when people sent them, they were like, I did a couple of retakes. I was like, all my life.
So many people were like, I'm sorry, this is so cringy. I'm like, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's all G. So, Kate, shall we get on to what we were actually planning to talk about for this episode, other than the fact that Mickey Waffles is a year-old?
I was like, was there anything else? I thought that was just it. Yeah, so what could be more important? So today we're going to continue on with our attractions, series, I guess. We're sticking with Fantasyland because ain't no moving from Fantasyland once you're in it, is there? So today we're going to be looking at Casey Jr. Circus Train, or Casey Jr. Le Petit Train du Cirque, Full Steam Ahead, which is what it is in Paris, and Le Pièce des Contes de Fées, which are the storybook land canal boats. And they're both at the very, very, very back of Fantasyland.
Yeah, we decided to clump them together because they are in the exact same area, kind of separated. Also, there's not a whole lot to say about both of them, so it kind of made sense to tie them in together.
Yeah, to be honest with you guys, they're not very exciting from fact point of view or how they work or anything like that. They're pretty much say what you see kind of thing. But we still got to chuck them in, and what a good time to put them in. They're lighthearted, they're funny, and they're kind of also the one attraction because they run in the same area. When we'll talk about it in a second, when you read the highlight points of Casey Jr. and then the highlight points of the boats, they're both kind of the same. So They both just sort of fit together, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of pretty, for lack of a better way of framing it, serendipitous that we talk about them here, because neither of us had gone on these rides until this year, until we kind of were making a point of doing all of the rides that we had previously kind of ignored. So it's kind of been about a year since we went on the boats, and then it would have been kind of the October trip is the first time I went on Casey Jr., the first October trip, and then you went on the second one. So I suppose kind of...
What a thrill ride. It says here preschoolers, but I don't think so.
I mean, if you're sitting facing front ways, then it's fine. But if you're backwards, it's basically like Big Thunder Mountain Light. Slight exaggeration, but still.
It was like Big Thunder Mountain.
So, which will we start off with? Will we start off with the little boats or Casey Jr.?
Will we do Casey Jr. and then go to the boats?
Sure.
Or do you want to do the boats first and then go to Casey Jr.?
We'll start with Casey Jr. because I don't know. We'll just start with Casey Jr. because I feel like there's less to say about Casey Jr.
Oh, okay, grand. So Casey Jr. Le Petit Train du Cirque. Join the circus and jump aboard the jolly little train from Dumbo for a gentle trip, up, down, and around the miniature marvels of Storybook Land. So cute. All aboard
Yeah,
for a
see-
mini tour. Mini tour. It has mini in quotation marks. We've seen
I
this
feel
before,
like they could have just said like Minnie Mouse and
but
done
I
like
don't
that
think
mini. And
they don't think they know how quotation marks work because they put them in
No.
places where, like, no, it is a mini tour. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
You're not being sarcastic or anything. That is what it
I
is.
know. That's where I feel like if they put in like Minnie as in like Minnie Mouse, it would be slightly different. But
Yeah, that would work.
here we
Aye,
are.
we've had this problem before with translations. So, vila vie,
Yeah. So the Casey Junior attraction in Disneyland Paris. There is also a Casey Junior attraction in Disneyland, which is an actual choo-choo train. And however, in Disneyland Paris,
choo train.
it's an actual choo-choo train. However, in Disneyland Paris, it is powered like a roller coaster. It's a very mild roller coaster, shall we say. However, it is a roller coaster and it has a roller coaster system. And as we say, it kind of loops around the Storybook area of the park. And it was opened on March 20th, 1994.
And it's currently operating as operating as it can be. I like that if you go onto any of the attraction pages on Disneyland Paris at the moment, they're like, keeping in mind guest safety, this attraction is currently closed. And it's like, well, I'd bloody hope so.
Yeah. Like, lads, the whole park is closed. We get it.
Yeah, I understand. Hop inside a this sentence is so descriptive, I don't think I can't say it. Hop inside a festive animal cage or ornate sleigh and follow brave engine Casey Jr., Le Petit Train du Cirque, from the Castle Disney animated movie. Oh, Castle? No, classic. That was me. I thought they'd made a mistake. I like picking out their
Okay.
mistakes. On a journey through Storybook Land. As you gracefully make your way over hills and through valleys, behold a brilliant tapestry of familiar settings from classic Disney movies, amazingly rendered in miniature scale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then it basically just lists every single thing that's like inside that little Storybook Land thing. But I don't think we need to list all those because there's a lot of them. Night on Bald Mountain scene. I didn't know that's what the scene from Fantasia was called.
Well, there you go. There's also a scene from the Emerald City
There is,
in
yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, which I find rather bizarre, but sure, we won't question it too much.
Is The Wizard of Oz a Disney movie?
No.
Then how could... Okay.
However, Return to Oz, that horrific movie, is on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Very interesting.
One day I will decide to watch it when I'm in a really weird mood. When I'm in a really weird mood, I'll decide to watch that movie because I remember watching that when I was a kid and it legit gave me nightmares because it is so horrific.
I will probably never watch it then.
It's a time. But anyways, shall we talk about the accessibility, Kate?
Yeah, you take accessibility. That's your gig. You always do accessibility.
Fab. So, wheelchair users must transfer into the attraction vehicle alone or with assistance and must be accompanied by one able-bodied person over the age of 15. Suitable for guests who have difficulty standing. Authorization to ride the attraction depends on the type of limb atrophy. Haven't lost it.
Oh, look at her go, lads.
Look at me
Atrophy
go.
for days.
Limb atrophy that you have. And again, full list is available from City Hall, Donald West Studio Services and the Central Reservations Office. Suitable for guests with a learning disability, autism, behavioural disorder, or mental health disorder. Again, must be accompanied by an able-bodied adult. Suitable for visually impaired guests. Suitable for blind guests, but they must be accompanied by an able-bodied adult. Suitable for hearing impaired guests. Suitable for guests with a debilitating illness. Debilitating, good lord.
It gets me
Illness.
every time. I'm like, it's so specific. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No. Or temporary physical impairment. No service doggos or animals are allowed on it, which makes me a little sad.
They'd heckin' fall off, Sinead.
I know. It does say, due to the nature of this experience, service animals are not permitted on this attraction, which is fair.
You'd be
It's
like,
a little
bork,
whippy.
bork, bork.
It's a little whippy. And it says for interests, it says fun for little ones and not to be missed. And then a few guest policies. Expectant mothers may not ride. Supervised children at all time. Children under the age of 7 years old must be accompanied by an adult. And the number of guests allowed to be on with learning disability, mental health disorder, etc., is with at least one helper is 3.
Wow,
So-
interesting.
It's basically suitable for everybody, except if you're pregnant.
Yeah, no pregos allowed, Soz.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I wouldn't be 100% sure on, so the queue for Casey Juniors it's quite windy and has a bit of it's quite steep. And as far as I'm aware, I think there's steps in it. So I don't know. I assume you have to go up the exit if you are a wheelchair user or can't go up
Sorry.
steps.
I'm just thinking, I'm pretty sure you need to go through the exit. They definitely make you leave your buggies at the gate before you start the path,
Yes.
because I remember so many people coming up with their buggies and the Catherine was being like, "You're all idiots. Did you not leave them at the gate? They don't fit through here, you dumbasses."
Yeah, 'cause you have to go through the little turnstile things during the queue as well. So just to bear that in mind.
Yeah, so I'd say that you do have to. I vaguely remember seeing like the exit had the little wheelchair symbol on it, the little disability access symbol. So yeah, I'd say you probably do have to go through the exit. But I'd also just say that I'd say it has the same sort of idea, like with the limb atrophy thing, that Casey Junior is actually quite tight when you sit down in it. There's not that much room because it's made for kids, really. Like, let's be real, it's made for small children. So I'd say it is going to be a case of, like with Big Thunder Mountain, that if you can't get your back fully up against the seat, that they're not going to let you ride. So just be aware of that when you go to try and get on the ride, that just because it is like a kiddie's ride, it can go quite fast at some points depending on where you're at. Like, there are some sharp-ish corners because it is built like a roller coaster. So just be aware. Don't think that it's like a guaranteed ride on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have a massively high capacity. There's, I think, 9 rows, and row 9 you do face backwards. So if you're a person that gets like motion sickness quite easily or anything like that, just bear that in mind. Maybe try avoid sitting in row 9 because it's very whippy, because like any roller coaster, the back is far more whippy than the front. So if that would already potentially trigger it, and then also sitting backwards, just be wary of that. However, if you do not suffer with motion sickness, try sit in the back row because it's absolutely the most fun.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's so much fun. Like, I remember sitting there and being like, oh my God. Like, it really does. It really does whip you. It does really whip you around. Like, you get some airtime.
Yeah, and especially because when you're sitting at the back, obviously you can't see where you're going, so you can't anticipate turns or anything like that. So you're just fully going in blind, which is pretty damn fun.
It really adds to the excitement, I have to say, now, to be honest.
Yeah. I will say the wait time, because it is quite a low capacity ride, the wait time can get quite high on this. So I think it was the first October trip that we went on, I looked at it and it was at one stage at like 45 minutes. Please don't wait 45 minutes for this. It ain't worth 45 minutes.
No. The only reason I'd say to maybe wait is if you have smaller children who can't get on any of the other roller coasters and they're like, I want to go on a roller coaster. Like, that would be maybe the only reason. But otherwise, like...
So, Kate, what are you giving it out of 5?
I would like to give Casey Jr. a 3 out of 5.
Okay. How come a 3 out of 5?
It's really fun. It's really cute. It's really bright. It's actually quite a fun ride to go on. And the theming of it within Storybook Land is actually pretty cute. I just, for what it is, I highly enjoy it. Like, it's obviously not my favorite ride, and I wouldn't go out of my way to make sure I go on it. But as for what it is, I think it's very good.
Fair.
What about you?
I'm going to do a real Sinead thing, and I'm actually going to give it 2 scores. I'm going to give it a 3 if you're facing...
works,
Sinead.
Sinead.
Just forgive me. You'll understand, and you'll probably agree with me. I'm going to give it a 3 if you're facing forward, but if you do get the seats where you're facing backwards, I think it's a solid 3.5.
Oh, okay,
I think it deserves that extra half a point if you're sitting backwards, because it's just so fun.
I'll allow you that one. Okay, no problems.
Thanks. Where are you ranking it? I can't remember what the rest of our rankings were. But
I can't remember either. What other ones have we done? Pirates.
Pirates isn't in Fantasyland, you Lula.
No, are we not? Oh, we're only doing it by Fantasyland. I thought we were just doing all of them.
No, I think we were just doing Fantasyland.
Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do all of them. That doesn't make any sense. So what have we done?
We've done Peter Pan. Yeah.
The maze.
Yes.
What did we do with the maze? Did we also do the teacups?
I think we just did the maze.
Wow. Okay, so we've done... so we've done Peter Pan's Flight, the maze, and then these, and then this. Is that it, really?
hold on. Let me consult Apple Podcast. Two seconds, please. Oh, we've also done Small World.
Oh, I forgot about Small World.
Yeah, so we've also done Small. I think they're the only ones we've done.
So out of all of the ones that we've already done, I think my top one so far is definitely Peter Pan. So we've got Peter Pan, then Small World, then Casey Jr., and then The Maze.
Mine's literally the exact same.
I think no matter where we go in Fantasyland, The Maze is always going to be last. Let's just take that for granted.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
can't. It's the only one that, like, if I go into Fantasyland and everything is a 10-minute wait, I would literally do everything else and do something else again rather than do The Maze.
I'm like, because it's fun. It genuinely is fun the first time, and it's fun when you're bringing someone around who's never done it before, because you're like, oh, this is cute. But like, if you're going in for no purpose other than to just enjoy the attraction, I'm like, nah.
It's just it's not my cup of tea, and it's also a case of you do a lot of walking in DLP, so to then go and walk around a maze, nah, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and then the problem is if you get stuck up by the castle, you get like the Queen's Castle inside the maze, the like tower bit, then you get stuck there for ages, and you're like, oh, I just want to get out.
Yeah, I agree. But
like,
no, I
it's
think
not even like it's worth the view.
Yeah, exactly. That ranking is pretty much mirrors mine. So we're on the same page so far.
Okay, great. Shall we move on to the little butts?
Yeah.
The little butty butts. So this is Le Pied de Contes de Fées, which is I think I'm pretty close in my pronunciation of this ride. It also exists in other parks as the Storyland Canal Boats.
However, the direct French translation is the Land of Fairy Tales, which I think is very cute.
That's cute, isn't it? Because I don't think storybook works in French. I don't think it's a thing.
No,
I don't. It doesn't. It's a no-go.
Not really.
So, shall I read the description?
Go for it.
Okay. Set off on a voyage to magical miniature lands where classic works of literature and memorable Disney moments are brought to life. Hop inside a colourful 15-person boat. I like how they felt the need to mention that it was a 15-person boat, because they're like, this is one of the few descriptive characters we have to do with this ride.
Yeah.
So, hop inside a colourful 15-person boat for a gentle cruise through the enchanting realm of Disney's storybook land. As you gracefully make your way past hills and through valleys, discover a dazzling assortment of charming homes and villages from classic Disney movies, beautifully rendered in miniature scale. And then it lists all the same things that it listed for Casey Jr., because you see all the same stuff.
Yeah.
But we won't go through all that, because that's a time.
Tis a little bit excessive.
It says for miniature magic, the handcrafted mini models use a scale of 1 inch to 1 foot and are as painstakingly detailed as full-size structures. The doors of many of the buildings actually open for added effect.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Would you look at that? Anyway, yes,
That's
now accessibility,
adorable.
please. Thank you.
So, accessibility. Wheelchair users must transfer into the attraction vehicle alone or with assistance. Must be accompanied by at least one able-bodied person over the age of 15. Now, question, Kate, where do these people get on? Because you go downstairs and you leave via stairs.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there might be like a little wheelchair access doobly-doo thing in a ramp somewhere.
Like the thing for the dart.
No, not like the thing for the dart.
I don't know.
Like, I think they might stop the turntable, and then I think there might be like a ramp that just goes straight onto the turntable, or maybe something.
Okay.
I just think it was a very traumatic experience about getting on and off, that I don't think we had time to notice everything else that was going on in that attraction.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about loading and unloading from this attraction, because let me tell you guys, it is a time, and you have to have your wits about you.
You have to be paying attention. I don't know how they don't have more people just falling in.
Yeah, no, me neither. But anyways, suitable for guests who have difficulty standing. Authorization to ride the attraction depends on the type of limb atrophy that you have. City Hall,
Ding,
Donald
ding,
Duck.
ding, 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 ding.
I said it right again. Twice in one episode. I'm so proud of myself. City Hall, Donald Desk, Studio Services, and the Central Reservations Office for a full list of these. Suitable for guests with a learning disability, autism, behavioral disorder, or mental health disorder. Again, must be accompanied by an able-bodied adult over 15. Suitable for visually impaired guests. Suitable for blind guests, who again must be accompanied by an able-bodied person over the age of 15. Guide and assistance doggos are allowed.
Woo, woo, woo. The bork, bork.
I feel like I don't actually think I've ever seen a guide dog in DLP.
No, neither do I actually. I don't think I've ever noticed them, which
And
is
I'm a little bit-
interesting.
I'm a little bit sad because we always see the working doggos outside,
Oh yeah, they're great.
but I don't think I've ever seen a little guide dog trotting around the park.
No.
That is my new goal. I've certainly never seen one on the little boats.
Oh, absolutely not, because that
Oh
would
my
just
God,
make
that
this
would
boat. That would make this
make-
ride phenomenal compared
make
to
my
any
day.
other ride.
Imagine going on it with a little doggo. Oh my God, that would make my day. Suitable for expectant mothers, one of the very few attractions that is suitable for expectant mothers because it requires 0 lap bar. Suitable for guests with a debilitating illness or temporary physical impairment. And then for interest, it says fun for little ones and not to be missed. Although I feel like they say not to be missed for everything, because why would they say something was to be missed? Otherwise, why the hell would it be there?
Yeah, like you can just skip this one. That's G, no worries.
Come on, DLP. And then guest policy, supervise children at all times. Children under the age of 7 must be accompanied by an adult. Number of guests with a learning disability, mental health disorder, behavioral disorder, or autism allowed onto an attraction as a group, accompanied by at least one helper. That sentence is always such a bloody mouthful. But you can
I
only
was
have
like,
one.
where's your what's the word? What's the word for those things they put in sentences?
Commas?
Just in general. What's the word I'm looking for?
Breaks?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, where's your oh, this is gonna annoy me. Where's your
Semicolon?
no?
What are you trying to say?
I mean, like when you like commas, but like in sentences you have. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I meant commas, like breaks. Like it'll come to me later.
Punctuation.
Yes, that's
There
the
we
word
go.
I was looking for.
You were looking for the broader term and I was being a bit too specific.
Yeah, I was like, no, the whole encapsulation of commas.
But you can have one person per boat with any of those health conditions.
I think that's
shall we
fair.
say.
I think when it comes to boats and stuff like that, that one per boat is makes sense safety wise.
Absolutely. And then the only other thing I wanted to, I suppose, note specifically about the ride is that it opened on April 3rd, 1994.
Yeah, and that unlike the original one in California, a guide dog. No,
a guide dog. Oh.
Unlike the original one in California, a guide does not accompany the riders in Paris.
Yes.
The boats
Well, no.
are guided by an underwater wire rather than being propelled by an onboard motor. And passengers enter the boats via a cellular revolving platform. I was hoping it would mention if there was a wheelchair access, but it doesn't.
Yeah. Should we talk about the revolving platform?
And how scary it is.
Oh my God.
It makes you feel so disorientated when you come off of it.
Yeah. So you go, the general queue isn't kind of so bad. You're kind of going around and then you go up a few steps and you go over a bridge and then you go down a few steps onto this revolving platform. And picture it kind of like, it's like Buzz and it's like Phantom Manor, like it's a continuous loader-ish. The rides don't stop for you to get in them. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
This is turning and the boats move as it's turning. And you just have to get into a moving boat whilst also trying to acclimatize to the fact that now you are on a revolving platform. And even thinking about it is making me stressed.
Yeah, so like you move, so like basically when the boats come onto the revolving platform, they like lock into place so they don't move. But you're also, once you're on the platform, you're going the same speed as the boat that you're trying to get into. But you also only have a limited amount of time before you run out of revolving platform and then it blasts off back into the little canal.
Yeah, and they especially when it's busy, they really pack these boats because when I went on it with Breffney, Nathan, and Kiva, they put all 4 of us sitting in the back row.
Wow, that's
The back
a
row
lot.
is tiny. The back row is tiny. The back row is smaller than the front row of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. And they put 4 of you in there.
All 4 of us.
That's crazy.
It was horrific. I was like, we could have just waited for the next boat.
Yeah, like, but see, that's the thing though. You can't really wait on that platform, can you? You kind of, once you're off the steps, you kind of have to go. Yeah, but like they don't really have options. And I wonder, is it a big hassle to stop that attraction and restart it? Because I wonder, do they try and they're like, come on, you can get in this boat. Come on, get on, get in the boat.
I would imagine, I mean, because when you're actually on the ride, it stops all the time.
Yeah, that's very
all
true,
the
actually.
time.
Yeah.
It's like Buzz. Like, I have never gone on a full route of the little boats and not been stopped.
Or Buzz, for
Several
that
times.
matter.
Yeah, same. Now, in Buzz, it's handy, though, because Buzz, if you get stuck in front of a good target, you can just keep shooting away. Happy days.
Considering it's impossible to get to max out on the one in Disneyland Paris. But anyway, that's for a different time.
But if you're on the boat, you're just kind of left there, and there are always some dickhead that tries to stand up or tries to lean too far out of the boat to take a picture or tries splashing around in the water. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just sit down.
The amount of people that stand up in the boats and they have to stop the boats and then get on the intercom and they're like, sit down.
They're just yelling incessantly throughout the park about people.
They're just
sit
like,
down.
Sit down in the boat, sir. Because like when you go through the Aladdin like Cave of Wonder bit, if you're stood up, you're going to get decapitated.
Oh, big time. You just straight up fall out of the boat.
Yeah, there's no room for error there.
It's a little, people are just stupid.
Wow, welcome to Disneyland Paris.
Nightmare. But you've mentioned the Aladdin Cave of Wonders. That's one of the other kind of differences between the one in Disneyland Paris and the one in Disneyland. So in Disneyland, you go into Monstro from Pinocchio's mouth. And that's the kind of big thing that you go into. Whereas in the DLP one, you go into the lions. It's a lion, isn't it?
It is.
I feel like it is a lion. It's some form of large cat.
Yeah, I think it's a lion. Yeah, it just, yeah.
You go into the lion's mouth and into the Cave of Wonders as per the Aladdin movie. Whatever.
A tiger? Is it a tiger?
I don't know, because it's all made out of sand, so it's only one colour, so. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can tell if it has stripes or not, so I don't freaking know.
In the feline variety.
Some form of a large non-domestic cat.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
That's the best way to put it. Do you want to discuss, so as traumatic as getting onto it is, do you want to discuss getting off it?
That's even more difficult. So obviously, so think about like when you're in Small World or when you're in Pirates and you're just coming along and you're stuck behind all these boats and you've got so much time and you're thinking about it and you're like, okay, I know that as soon as this boat is stopped and they say I can go, like I know exactly what to do. I'm up and I'm gone. But when it comes to little storybook boats, it's a different story. Because I feel like you don't have enough time, because in Pirates and Small World, you exit on one side and then people automatically start getting in from the other side. But that's not how the storybook boats works, because obviously they can only hook onto the revolving, I was going to say pendulum, they can only hook onto the revolving platform on one side. So you have to get off quick enough that they can then let the other passengers on, but the same way that you got on, and then you get off and you're on a revolving platform and you're spinning and you're stuck, and then you have to try and navigate your brain to be like, walk. and then you have to walk up steps.
The steps is the most traumatic part, because it's kind of like you know when you get off Buzz, I feel like I more so feel it with Phantom Manor, because you're in the dark, so that's also disorientating, much like you're spinning. So this is also disorientating. So you get off Phantom Manor and you get out of your doom buggy and you walk, and then all of a sudden you go from the moving platform to flat ground, and it's almost like you've just gotten off a trampoline that your legs don't quite know what to do.
Or it's
that
like
sensation in your mind.
Or it's kind of like when you've been sitting down for the night in the pub and you've gotten through about 4 drinks and this is the first time you have to stand up, and you stand up and you're like, whoa.
What happened?
What happened here?
Yeah.
And then you forget, and then your brain forgets to talk to your legs, and at some point somehow you've made it to the top of the stairs and you're like, okay.
But the thing is, because you're on a revolving platform, and to you are still, even though you know you're on a revolving platform, what you're doing is still. So you get to these stairs and the stairs are turning. But the stairs obviously aren't turning because you're on a revolving platform, but it looks like the stairs are spinning and you somehow have to get onto these spinning stairs.
Yeah.
And it just, every time it completely messes with my mind.
It's all a time, really. Which is gas, because it's a ride that I don't think many people know about or know it exists or have it on their list. But it's just got so many things associated with it that just make it a bit mad.
And it closes for quite a lot because of where it is in the park. It gets very bleached by the sun. So it closes for quite an extensive refurb. That's why we didn't go on it our first trip. And me and Breffney didn't go on it on our trip, because I think that time of the year is when it's closed for refurb. But it's just, I don't know. I would love to go to Cafe Fantasia, have a glowtini or two, and then go on the little boats, because I feel like that would be a time.
You'd be rocking. Also, because of the nature of it, it closes when it rains as well.
Yeah.
And then the cast members get their cute little yellow jackets and their little rain hats, and they're so adorable.
It's so the Fantasyland cast member outfits are one of my favorite.
They're just so cute. And then you have to walk up to this little dude that looks like Paddington Bear, and he's so cute. And you have to be like, hi, and he's like, no, madame, and you're like, okay, bye.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I'd say as a ride, it's actually closed for, I'd say, about half the year between refurbs and rain. But I would suggest that if you've never been on it and you are a frequenter of Disneyland Paris, that you definitely give it a go, because it's an experience to withhold.
Even just the loading and unloading, even just experiencing that, because the rest of it, you just sit down, you can see some cute little models that are ridiculously difficult to get cute pictures of. So it's just a nice little way of sitting down.
Yeah, it is relaxing.
It's the getting to sit down and then the getting back up that are the thrill, shall we say,
exactly,
of the whole attraction.
But I would just say then, see, because it's interesting, because I know we were talking about how it's suitable for pregnant women because there's no lap bar. But then and I do think the actual ride itself is a very pregnant friendly ride in the park, because it's quite calming and there's cute little music. But the whole getting on and off is where I'd be like, just watch
traumatic. you would not, or at least I wouldn't, you would not let a pregnant person get on first. You would have somebody in the boat that can like help them down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't just leave them to fend for themselves, because that would be, well, one, rude, but also not a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, Kate, what are you going to give the little boats out of 5?
I'm going to give them a 3. I quite like them. I quite like the idea of them, but I do think that the addition of like a cast member on board telling the story like they have in California would be good. I understand that they'd have to talk half in French and half in English, but they do this for a lot of stuff anyway, so I don't understand why it would be a massive problem, because they do have a lot of cast members who can fluently speak both, so I think that would be quite fun. And it's also just, of all the rides, like there's a lot more rides that I'd just rank higher as it, and I also think the fact that it has to be closed for a lot of the year also gets a point taken away from it, because it's not as easily accessible as a lot of the other rides. So yeah, 3. Go about you.
I agree. I feel like this episode has ended up being very samey, because I would also give it probably about a 3. I think it's fun. I think it's cute. I think it would especially be good for families, because they can point out the different fairy tales and all of that, because I know they say that it's Disney movies, but there are some non-traditional Disney movies that are in there as well. So that's quite fun. It's a nice place to kind of take a break and sit down for a few minutes. I love a boat ride. Always a big fan of a boat ride. And you get the thrill of getting on it and getting off in it, which getting off it, Jesus. Can't speak today. But yeah, I think I would probably also give it about a 3. It's a solid ride.
Where would you stick it in your Fantasyland ranking?
I think I would put it after Casey Jr.
Oh yeah, even though that's
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, I think Casey Jr. is just really, really fun. And I think that's probably because I didn't go on Casey Jr. for so long that it shocked me that I enjoyed it quite so much. And I've done it both ways. I've done it facing forwards and facing backwards. Again, always recommend to do the facing backwards. However, it is just as fun going forwards as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go Peter Pan, Small World, Casey Jr., The Lil Boats, and Alice's Curious Labyrinth.
Yep, I'm exactly the same.
Oh God, we're so samey.
I think it's just because it's Fantasyland. I think Fantasyland is neither of our most favorite places to be in the park.
True.
And so I think it comes quite mid-range for the two of us.
Yeah, like it's not like when we go into a park, Fantasyland, with the exception of one morning of our trip during Extra Magic time, Fantasyland isn't the land that either of us are necessarily like, let's go here, because it's either Frontierland or it's Discoveryland. And I'm excited for whenever we finally get to do those, because they have some of my favorite rides and some of your favorite rides. So I'm excited for when we can do those.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I think like between the two of us, like Frontierland and Discoveryland are definitely much higher in our rankings, and we both have personal preferences both within those. But I think Fantasyland just comes quite middling for us both, because we enjoy all of the rides that are in Fantasyland. They're just, none of them are really like our ultimate favorite must-dos. And I think that Fantasyland can get quite busy quite quickly, because it is a lot of kid-friendly rides, and we try not to be where all the children are if possible, just because they're annoying. Also, I find that walking through Fantasyland is really annoying because no one's watching where they're going. Yeah.
Very stressful.
So yeah, I think that's probably why we're quite samey when it comes to Fantasyland.
Yeah, and I think, like, don't get me wrong, Fantasyland has a lot of those, like, quintessential, when you think of Disneyland, you think of these rides. So it's a lot of those, and it's a lot of the rides in Fantasyland are, oh, this is only 10 minutes and everything else is really high. Will we go and do this? Or, oh, this is only 15 minutes. Oh yeah, sure, we'll go do that. So there are a lot of rides within Fantasyland that are must-dos for me when I'm there. Like the Teacups, Peter Pan, Dumbo is now one of those as well. I just like punched my microphone out of the way and it like swung. So yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty good. For two rides that are pretty minimal to the entire park, I think we got a good go at them. And I hope we like advertise them enough to people that have never been on them that they can be like, yeah, okay, these sound fun. I'll give them a go.
They're definitely worth going back to that area of the park. And especially because when you're going back to that area of the park, that's where the old mill is that has a Whopper hot chocolate. And you can also get Mickey Waffles.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and also just one last little bit about that Storybookland area. There is a meet and greet area down there as well, which I'm only saying because I didn't always know it was there. And I was always like, that doesn't make any sense. Like that park, that's not even a piece of the park. Like I don't understand. So I know that before all the COVID stuff happened, there was like massive change ups with what's going where and characters going who what's, and but for a long time it was Winnie the Pooh was down there, and it changed between Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore and Tigger and that kind of stuff. But then at one point Donald went down there and I was like, whoa, what a flip. But either way, and then for a while there was no characters there. So just FYI, there is a character meet and greet down there. If you do see it on the map, that's where it is. You basically just keep following the road that you think leads nowhere.
Yeah. And sometimes like when me and Breffney were there and the train was up and running, RIP train, we passed and Tiana and Naveen were meeting back down there. I know the Tweedles sometimes meet there, the White Rabbit. So you get kind of some more niche characters because it is slightly more hidden away, and unless you know it's there, you won't know it's there. So they put kind of, I think, some more niche characters that could potentially end up with massive lines that they don't potentially want to have massive lines, so they just hide them down there.
Yep, that sounds like DLP, all right.
Just hide them and no one will know. Except for DLP report, because they always know.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all we have to say.
Yeah. And for in full transparency, we've had to record this episode on 2 different days because
Oh yeah, because my laptop and
more
my
technical
internet
difficulties.
just went. It went, bye, we're done. Literally mid-sentence of Sinead's.
Yeah. So we're recording the second half of this on Friday, which should also be the same day that this episode is released. So
How exciting.
hello, same day.
But yeah, just to go back to the start of the episode, thank you guys so much for listening for however long you've been listening for. If this is your first episode because you've run out of your regular podcast to listen to,
Then
and this is your
welcome.
first time finding us, then welcome. Hi, we've been going for a year. But yeah, if you guys have been with us from the start or whenever you found us, thanks so much for listening to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And be sure to reach out to us on Instagram. We love making more Disney pals and Disney friends. Tag us when you're listening to the episode. Always love when people do that. And yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget that we'll be doing another Disney quiz next week.
Yes, next Friday, April 17th, 7 p.m. DM me your email address and we will send you the invite.
7 p.m. GMT.
Oh yeah. I feel like we sound Irish enough that people will just assume it's 7 p.m. in Ireland, but I should probably specify, but here we are.
Just that fine. Okay, great.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't know why I waved.